This is Corbin Smith for the Seahawks Wire. This week for our film breakdown, I'm going to be taking a closer look at defensive tackle Jarran Reed. 45 tackles last season as a full-time starter for the Seattle Seahawks. With Sheldon Richardson heading to Minnesota in free agency, a lot of the onus is going to fall onto Reed to pick up the slack and help replace him. During his first 2 seasons in the NFL, Reed is lined up primarily in the one tech between the opposing center and guard. He's playing one gap, not two. In this case, the A gap. It's his responsibility to control that gap and prevent run lanes from opening up for the other team. Occasionally, Reed will actually slide out to the 3-tech. Now he's lined up between the guard and the tackle. He still has a one-gap responsibility. Now that we know where Reed lines up, what makes the former second-round pick such a valuable player to Seattle's prospects for the 2018 season? Starting with the obvious, Reed is a key cog in the Seahawks' run defense. He eats blocks and holds serve against double teams. A lot of times your best defensive tackles don't make a ton of tackles themselves, but they create opportunities for the linebackers behind them. One great example of this came against the Tennessee Titans. Reed's initially going to be blocked by the center. He holds his own though. The center's not able to move him. That forces the guard to come in with a chip block. With Reed and Richardson both maintaining leverage against doubles, Bobby Wagner's able to fly through untouched and make the tackle on Derrick Henry. Due to his impressive lower body power, Reed's just difficult to move, even against double teams. Here against the 49ers, San Francisco tries to double him up with the guard in the center. Reed sets an anchor and forms the Great Wall of Jarran, forcing Carlos Hyde to bounce into a swarm of Seahawk defenders. Dating back to his time at Alabama, Reed rarely gets beat by single blocks. He excels at controlling his gap and eliminating run lanes, thus destroying run plays before they even get started. On this play against San Francisco, the 49ers are running an outside run with a lead blocking fullback. Though the run is away from him, Reed maintains gap integrity and slides down the line of scrimmage effectively. Even with 2 players trying to block him, there's no running room or cutbacks for Carlos Hyde. The play's completely dead and Reed tracks the ball carrier all the way to the sideline for the tackle. In another example, in the season finale against Arizona, Reed once again does a great job sliding down the line of scrimmage and eliminating run lanes. Lined up in the 2-eye tech on the guard's inside shoulder, Reed beats the guard's block attempt and immediately penetrates the A gap. With the play blown up, he tracks down the ball carrier and brings him to the ground. Looking at one more play that illustrates Reed's ability to control his gaps. One thing I didn't like in this play, he gets his shoulders turned. That's usually a no-no for defensive linemen. But with this play being near the goal line, he's able to make himself narrow to get through the gap and sift through traffic to find the ball carrier and wrap him up at the line of scrimmage. Reed made over 100 tackles during his last 2 seasons at Alabama. Incredible production for an interior defensive lineman. Much of this success has to do with excellent vision and instincts. As shown on this play against the Giants, he keeps his eyes in the backfield to read the running back's lane choice and then times accordingly to discard blocks and make the tackle. Another example that I absolutely love watching, I've watched this clip over and over again. This is just great team defense by the Seahawks. The entire front line wins at the line of scrimmage, forcing running back Robert Turbin to cut back immediately after getting the handoff. As we can see in the diagram here, Michael Bennett's going to drive his blocker backward and sets the edge. On the right side, Reed sets up anchor and holds leverage against the center. As Turbin starts to make his cutback, Reed tosses the center like a rag doll off to the side and stands the running back up in the hole, stuffing him for no gain. One last play that stood out to me in regards to Reed's instincts as a football player came against the Dallas Cowboys, the best offensive line in football. They did have some injuries up front, but Travis Frederick, highly regarded as one of the best in the business at center. Using an explosive first step, Reed's going to get right past Frederick deep into the backfield. Sometimes getting too much penetration can be problematic. It creates cutback lanes for running backs, especially players the caliber of Ezekiel Elliott. But Reed does an excellent job breaking down at the point of attack, recovers and trips up Elliott before he can find running room. One last thing that jumps off film when watching Reed against the run, the effort he plays with. He plays to the whistle every single down. Interior defensive linemen don't normally make tackles on wide sweeps, but here against the New York Giants, even at 300 plus pounds, Reed doesn't give up on the play. He takes an efficient pursuit angle chasing the back as he goes towards the sideline. He covers an incredible amount of ground before knocking the running back out of bounds. Transitioning towards the passing game, Reed's effort is also evident when rushing opposing quarterbacks. Great example against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Rodgers is a master at creating time in the pocket, and Seattle doesn't get much pressure on him early. The initial bull rush and swim combo prove ineffective for Reed, but with coverage holding up in the back end for Seattle, Reed eventually has time to create interior pressure. He makes a move inside and forces Aaron Rodgers to bail to the right sideline before throwing it out of bounds. Reed has already emerged as one of the better run-stuffing defensive tackles in the National Football League, but to take his game to the next level, he needs to become more effective and reliable as a pass rusher from the interior. Entering 2018, Seattle should be encouraged by the growth Reed made using his hands and developing secondary moves last season. Though this is a run play, this is an impressive swim move used by Jarran Reed. The swim move allows him to split the gap between the tackle and the tight end, immediately disrupting the run play. If he can learn to use this as a weapon as a pass rusher, he may have more opportunities to hit opposing quarterbacks. During his rookie season, Reed was far too reliant on bull rushing, and honestly, he's not very good at it. For this reason, he entered the league as a bit of a liability on passing downs. As his handwork has improved, however, he's become more of a factor in this area of his game. As he did during his rookie season, Reed only had 1.5 sacks in 2017, but he continued to show progress developing secondary pass rushing moves. Here against the Giants, Reed initially bull rushes the center. Then he uses an outside arm over move to explode past him. Without a running back as insurance protection, Reed immediately turns upfield with quarterback Eli Manning in his sights. He hits him and knocks the football out for a strip sack. If you're a Seahawks fan looking for reasons to be optimistic about Reed developing into a better all-around football player, this play against the Washington Redskins should excite you. In a rare instance where Reed lines up at the 3-tech, the Seahawks use some gamesmanship here, as they run a stunt on the left side. Defensive end Marcus Smith flies inside, while Jarran Reed uses a spin move to escape a double team and accelerate towards Kirk Cousins in the pocket. Seattle has rarely seen this kind of burst from Reed as a pass rusher, but it became more frequent towards the second part of the 2017 season. If Reed can deploy effective counter moves like this spin move, he has a chance to emerge as a Pro Bowler this season.